Today we're going to be making hash corned beef. You're watching the Bear Pantry Show. These are the ingredients that we're going to use to make the hash corned beef. I've got some onions diced up. This is a small onion or half of a large one. A can of the corned beef, and I got the one that's 25% less sodium, as if that's going to make it any healthier. Anyways, corned beef is so expensive nowadays. This was $4.98 a can. I swear to you, it burned my fingers to buy this. And I've got some butter, and I've got a skillet on the stove, and we're going to get the can open and get this wonderful menu started. I want to share with you guys my experience with corned beef. I hate this meal, honestly. I don't want to be one of these, cooking shows that I act like I like all these meals. I don't like it. I call it hurricane food, or I call it disaster food. The only time in our home, because I used to stay with my grandmother on my mom's side of the family a whole lot, the only time they would cook this is when money was tight and they would run out of chicken or beef or something else to cook. So I'd be at school and I'd come home and I would smell this and I would go, oh God, I don't want to eat that. And so what I would eat would be white rice and scrambled eggs with some butter. Talk about some real Bear Pantry meals, right? But everybody else in the house seemed to just love the corned beef. It was just me. You know what? I'm going to resign myself to the fact that I was a picky eater and probably still is a little bit. But anyways, just because I don't like it, don't mean I won't show you how to make it. This is one of Joe's specialties, so I've invited him to come in the kitchen and help me, but he doesn't want to be seen on camera because he's been painting today and he's like covered with paint. But he's going to tell me what to do, all right? So let's move over to the stove and see how we get this meal started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is get a skillet, and we're going to put a little bit of butter in it. This is about a tablespoon, okay? And so let's take a look at how deep this skillet is. Alrighty, see? It's kind of deep, right? It's one of my older skillets. I can't use the organic frying pan on this because it's going to be too shallow. So we're going to get the butter a little bit hot, and then let me get the corned beef from the can and the onions, and let's see what the next step is. So we're going to put our onion right here in the butter. And I do realize that maybe other Belizeans will make this differently, but that's why this is called my recipe. And all recipes are different, and some people kind of attack me because they say, oh, it's not authentic. But it's authentic for me because this is the way they used to make it in my home when I lived in Belize. And so everybody's recipe is different. And I always tell you guys you can change it. There's no problem with making changes. That's what makes a recipe uniquely yours when you go ahead and make the changes to it. So this is going to be pretty simple because remember, this is poor man's dinner or poor man food. I call it disaster food. And so we're just going to saute this for a little bit while I get Joe to open that can of corned beef. I don't even know how to open it, I'll be quite honest with you. I don't use a little key. I have the fire here on medium, and let's take a look at what Joe's doing over there with opening the corned beef. Okay, so see, this is the key, right? Comes here on this can, and it never fails that when you start trying to turn this key like this to open it, it won't open. That's why I don't mess with this stuff. So that's why I enlisted Joe. Go ahead, Joe, do your stuff. Show us what you're gonna do, Joe. So he has a little knife. And basically he's gonna, and this is what we would do in a disaster too, right? Like in an earthquake or something. This is what we'd actually be doing. So you guys be careful with this because you're gonna get really badly injured. I've taken the onions in the meantime off of the fire because I don't want them to burn. We'll come back when Joe gets his pried open like a caveman. Okay, see, he got it pried open. Joshua says it looks like cat food. But he loves corned beef, okay? So he's not really criticizing. So I'm going to get it out the can. I'm going to get it out the can and in a bowl first. Then we're going to move back to the stove. Okay, so guys, take a look. I'm taking the corned beef from the can. And I think what I don't like about this meal is the smell. I am really sensitive to a lot of smells. And I don't like colognes and perfumes and powders and deodorants. The smell of them sometimes really kills me. So anyways, take a look. This is how the corned beef looks in the bowl. And of course Joe is manhandling the, oh, you ready? Oh, I'm slow today, guys. So Joe is ready. All right, So I'm doing something different today where I'm keeping that camera on the stand and then trying to use like a little portable one. So this is what our little hash corned beef is looking like, guys. Beautiful. You guys notice how I got Joey here to work even though he didn't want to be seen on camera, right? So he's going to put a little bit of black pepper. So this is all it is. Remember I told you this is like poor man's dinner? And he's just going to keep working it around with the spatula. It's all it is the butter, the onions, the corned beef. And he did put black pepper. He didn't put any salt because you know this thing is salty even with 25% less salt. It's very salty. So, I think we've been going like a couple of minutes, right, Joe? It took like a couple of minutes for the onion to saute, and then Joe was fighting to get the can open for me. And so now it's been cooking for a couple of minutes. So it won't take too long. Let me show you what we're going to be serving this with. So here we are. I made a pot of white rice, just plain white rice. No salt, no nothing, no butter, just plain white rice. And here's the hash corned beef. It took all of about 3 minutes to actually cook. 2 minutes for the onions, 3 minutes after the corned beef went in. So 5 total minutes that it took to cook this hash corned beef. And we normally serve this over the white rice. So what I'm going to do is go on ahead and get a plate going to show you what we used to eat when things were tight in Belize. So this is considered one of my true Bear Pantry meals, okay? So here's our finished product. I have a little platter here with some white rice and hash corned beef. If you hear some noise in the background over there, that's Joe making some fried plantains to go with his hash corned beef and white rice. He's actually looking forward to eating this today. I think Joshua and Joe is going to eat this for dinner. And then Jada and me, right, we're going to go ahead and make our tacos on the go recipe that I have at the side already. Take a look. I'll put a link for you. So I was in the kitchen with Joe making the hash corned beef, and I realized that it's St. Patrick's Day, so what am I doing without my green? So I ran in the room and changed my top. Joe thinks I'm silly. But anyways, see how simple it was to make the hash corned beef? All it was the corned beef from the can. With the cost of what the corned beef is now, I don't really think it's poor man's dinner anymore, right? $4.98 for that little can. I told you, burn my hands to touch it. But anyways, onions, butter, and some black pepper. It had enough salt from the can, but if you want to add more salt, go ahead. You know, you change it according to what your taste buds are. I thank you so much as always for watching, but I want to take a quick moment right now to share a little bit of information. I hear that I have someone that's not qualified as a viewer anymore. They're actually a fan. And so this person lives in Belize. His name is Earl, and I want to give you a special shout out because I hear that you are just really enjoying my show, and I really appreciate the feedback. You know, Earl, we're actually coming to Belize really soon, and I'm going to get with you, a private message somehow, so you can try to hook me up with some kind of TV interview or newspaper interview or book signing. I don't know what powers you have or who you know, what contacts you have, but I would absolutely love to do something like that. I know my mom's working on one of the television shows to get me an interview when I go, and of course I look forward to that. And for all the people who watch my show in Belize, I'm coming really soon. I'll let you guys know when, and I would be so happy to do a meet and greet with you. Thank you so much for watching the show as always, for picking up the book, for liking, for sharing, for doing everything that you do to support me. And until I see you guys again, take care. Okay, see, he got it pried open. Joshua says it looks like cat food, but he loves corned beef, okay? So he's not really criticizing. So I'm gonna get it out the can. I'm gonna get it out the can and make it in a bowl first. Then we're gonna move back to the stove.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to talk to this camera, so if you don't want to get seen, get out the way.
Alright. Is that camera been recording this whole time?
Yeah.